Oh? I didn't think I would see you here. Yes, we had the fortune of meeting not too long ago. They are quite a knowledgeable and talented pair, and a pleasure to be around. Traveler, we were just discussing the history of Rex Lapis. Would you like to listen? I can't say I agree. Let us not speak of the authenticity of the dagger and sword first. But Mora and money came about simply because they are a convenient measure of a contract's value. Rex Lapis just meant for Mora to serve as a catalyst for people to exchange and trade. The world's first Mora is probably just an ordinary coin created by Rex Lapis. As for its fate, the same as all Mora, I suspect. It was simply spent somewhere. No, I am not debating right or wrong. I am simply stating a fact. I know but little about history, and I wouldn't dare to brag. But discussion is meaningless if everyone has the same opinion, no? That is correct, indeed. There's a simple explanation, really. To the god of wealth and commerce, what material is easier to get than Mora? I mean, I am talking about Rex Lapis. Oh, it's no problem at all. But may my friend accompany us? Perhaps they could be of some help. Let's not analyze it in terms of good versus evil. Rex Lapis placed great importance on the integrity of contracts. So any gods he killed certainly must have broken some kind of contract. This bit of history is a long story. But you may not like the truth when you hear it. No, it's just... Where should I begin? So you mean to say that this is work for the Wangsheng funeral parlor, yes? Well, since it's work, I don't have a choice. A consultant of the Wangsheng funeral parlor must respect their duty. That will give us a chance to continue the topic we were just discussing. Oh, and you should tag along too. This experience may be of help to you on your future adventures. It is a story from before the rise of the Seven. Although the god of salt has already perished, it will still be a meaningful experience for your journey. But this friend of mine has a treasure-finding talent, surpassed by no one. It will surely be of great help to us. If my friend espies a treasure chest, they will absolutely find a way to open it. Guyan Stone Forest is actually the perfect place to be, if you wish to learn about the gods or the history of the Archon War. Legend has it that Rex Lapis threw spears made of large rock into the sea here, piercing and crushing the overlord of the vortex. After many years of wind erosion, those stone spears have turned into the unique rock formations we see now. What we see now is just the part of them that remains. The stone spears hurled by Rex Lapis all those years ago were much greater, both in number and in size. But due to the different angles they landed at, their large centers of mass, erosion by seawater, and years of gravity, many of them have been completely swallowed by the sea. So besides wind erosion, the initial collapsing of the stone spears also played a big part in the formation of Guyan Stone Forest. Indeed, this is where the value lies in research at Guyan Stone Forest. Most of the objects from that time were lost to the sea. But the gigantic waves created by the overlord of the vortex have given those sunken objects a chance to see the light of day again. Okay then, I will go with my friend here. Although I have a smattering of knowledge in various disciplines, when it comes to archaeology, I can't compete with the expert here. Okay? If we find anything valuable or rare, let's meet on the shore opposite from here. The ancient god probably left behind lots of elemental marks. Following them should make our search much easier. Guyan Stone Forest is a place where a god was defeated, and its remnants still affect the area to this day. See that object in the center? Perhaps it emits the remnant strength of the god. That would certainly attract them. The hydromimic monsters. I have a contract. must put my personal feelings aside. Go ahead. Defeat them and recover the relic. It's just a stone slab, but its design is quite unique. This should be enough to garner some information. Let's head back. Now, calm down. No need to make a fuss. We were able to bring back some intriguing objects. Let's have a look. Oh, what a shame. These objects were indeed washed ashore by the Overlord of the Vortex, but they have nothing to do with the god besides being in the vicinity at the time. This stone slab we found, however, has a mysterious pattern and faint aura of divine power. Perhaps it will be useful for research purposes. Oh, by the way, you probably don't want to sell that teacup. That's not an ancient teacup. It's part of Ningguang's collection. It must have fallen here along with the Jade Chamber. So unless you want to mess with the Qixing... According to legend, the people of the god of salt, Havria, enjoyed prosperous lives under her protection. But this legend has been around for ages. With the countless scrap collectors and treasure hoarders in the area, there probably aren't many valuable things left here. I may know something about it. Over the years, I've heard various rumors with bits of knowledge about seals. Although their references seem rather disorderly, they do in fact contain the secret to breaking seals. Let's go take a look at the mechanism Miss Wanyan just mentioned. That's because there's actually another mechanism that must be activated. Let me lead the way from here. That's because you don't just need to activate them at the same time, but in a certain order as well. Otherwise, the seal will not be broken. The secret to this puzzle is hidden in the legends about the Archon War. Tianheng in the south, Yaoguang in the east, Jueyun in the west, Qingce in the north. All desolate and devoid of life. Liyue is vast, yet even one haven is hard to find. Certainly you have, and the contents of this saying are also related to the god of salt. To provide a haven for her people, whose lives had been ravaged by the Archon War, this benevolent god searched all across Liyue. At that time, with the chaotic fires of war engulfing the land, even one sliver of peace was a luxury. And that haven she eventually found is right here. Today, it is known as Sal Turai. Tianheng in the south, Yaoguang in the east, Jueyun in the west, Qingce in the north. With this clue, you should be able to solve the puzzle. It was nothing, really. Now, it's time that people learn the hidden truth lost to time. Before entering the ruin, I have a proposal that will help us prevent the kind of senseless arguing between you two that we saw at Guyanstone Forest. I propose you two agree upon a contract, stipulating that we alternate who gets claim to each treasure we encounter, with only one object permitted per claim. To show my sincerity, I won't be taking any treasure. This will just be between you all. Well then, if the contract is not agreed upon, I will no longer serve as your consultant on this expedition. You will have to rely on your own experience to find whatever treasures are hidden in this ruin, as well as traps. I can accept this arrangement. Well then, let's go. No, these are people. They were probably followers of the god of salt. According to my knowledge, it's no ordinary vessel. Although it is only half full, it is also forever half full. That is to say, it is bottomless. Exactly. If Mr. Clement wants this salt chalice, then the next object we find will belong to Miss Wanyan, according to the contract agreed upon. Then let's move on, shall we? Indeed. But the god of salt imbued it with another power. When you stick this ruler in the ground, the surrounding area will become covered in salt, much like a rising tide covers the earth. The deeper it is stuck in the ground, the more salt will appear. It is essentially a bumper harvest of salt. Well then, according to our contract, The Salt Ruler goes to Miss Wanyan. So you are saying you want to break the contract? Because you agreed to a contract. Rex Lapis once said, "Ones who break their contracts shall suffer the wrath of the rock." Will suffer the wrath of the rock. You may find it rather unpleasant. I shall confiscate your treasure as well. You are not worthy to continue any further into the ruin. Leave this place. Clement's wrongdoing stemmed from greed, yes. But besides greed, there are many other things that may tempt us to break contracts. When people see the object of their dreams, how many are really able to control their desire and follow the contract? I think we should be honest with each other now. That in truth, not a single member of this archaeological expedition came here for archaeology. Miss, you lack even the most basic archaeological knowledge and can recognize naught but a few simple relics. However, you are an expert when it comes to anything regarding the god of salt. You aren't interested in archaeology or relics. What you're really interested in is the god of salt. I believe those legends about the god of salt that you mentioned on the Pearl Galley are passed down between generations at Yinyuan Hall. Naturally, of course. But I must add, Liu is no longer Morax's Liu. Come with me. All the answers you seek lie ahead. 2 pieces of a broken sword. From an archaeological perspective, these are 2 separate relics. According to the contract, you can only claim 1. Yes, but the only 1 object per claim clause still holds true. You cannot take 2 relics at the same time. When there's a contract, nothing can be allowed to slide. If the contract is not followed, then it is broken. So you are already decided? Then there is a price to pay for breaking the contract. That is to say, you consign yourself to suffer the wrath of the rock. Perhaps that punishment would be easier for her. But, as punishment, I will tell you the truth. Yes, the truth that I am about to tell you shall be your price to pay for breaking the contract. I'm afraid to say that the god of salt, Havria, was not the powerful god you imagine her to be. Rather, she was a small and weak god who yielded to all other gods. When it came to war, she lost, never able to win a seat among the 7. During the Archon War, the gods of this world used all their strength and cunning to vie for control of Tevat. But Havria instead chose to flee. She thought that by giving up before a fight could start, she could save herself and her people from the war. However, during such a long war, there is no end to the advances of aggressors. After making countless concessions, Havria lost all of her lands, until only one small haven remained. In her last days, she had not even a single blade to defend her people with. This sword is not a relic belonging to the god of salt, but is instead the murder weapon used to kill her. As I said before, I only state the facts. It is a punishment after all. I did not want to tell her such cruel facts, but the contract was broken. Let's follow her deeper into the ruin. There, I fear, we will find something that will leave her no choice but to face the truth. Since you do not trust me, let us continue onward. That which lies beyond this door will show you all that happened back then. This is the scene of the crime. Havria's body dissipated, leaving nothing but these traces of salt. Her dying moments have since been frozen in time to this very day. The story continues that some among her people realized at last that this gentle, kind, but weak god could never protect anyone in wartime. The Archon War was cruel in the extreme. Instead of consigning her to the agony of defeat, they thought perhaps it would be better to give her a quick release. No matter how weak the god, the power that flows forth when they are slain is beyond the strength of mortal coils to bear. Those who could not flee were thus transformed. Those of her people who were untouched by this disaster left for Liyue, where they sought refuge with Rex Lapis. Their descendants feared Havria's remnants and lived in terror that she had laid upon them an eternal curse. So they risked their lives to come here, to break the sword and offer up obeisances in hopes that her anger might be appeased. But they need not have done so. For how could a god who had never once resisted, even till the end, nurse hatred for her people in her heart? This is the price she must pay. Yet I would not call it a bad thing. Judging by how she appeared, I fear that she will struggle for a time. But even if she may not escape that struggle immediately, simply recognizing the truth is good enough for now. Indeed, in ages past, Havria's story served as a warning to me as well. Faith in a god who has already passed will do you no good. So it is for Havria. And so it is for Morax also. All right then. Now, would you like to accompany me in taking a trip to Guyonstone Forest? Treading old ground, telling old stories. One cannot help but be reminded of old acquaintances. Now, I mentioned before that many gods of old have been sealed beneath the Guyonstone Forest. The Adepti have presently handed Liyue over to mortals, and Havria's time was even further in the past. The Salt Chalice and Salt Ruler that she left behind should not return to Liyue. To leave them here is to let them slumber. And it is also a homecoming. I ended an era with my own two hands. I've always wondered how I should remember that which I ended. History records, but history may be changed. This incident proved that. Time is a mighty force, and history's twist in its flow. I need to find a better way of recording history in order to engrave its truth. Stone carvings were one such ancient method, but unchanging stone, immovable earth, even one such as myself. Someday we may all disappear. Therefore, I thought of you, traveler. You are one who crosses the celestial atlas, and who passes through countless worlds. If our history is engraved in your memory, it will one day accompany you into another world. As long as a traveler like you is able to record what happened, then a backup of sorts will exist for times and tides of Teyvat. Now then, it is time that we consigned both the Salt Chalice and Salt Ruler to the sea. As I said before, this is the place to which the remnants of many bygone gods are consigned. This includes Osial, Overlord of the Vortex, who the Jade Chamber most recently returned to this ocean prison. Thousands of years ago, the Adepti and I fought against the turmoil that plagued every corner of this land. Guyonstone Forest, where I sealed many gods with my spears. After so long, naught but folk tales remain. Osial, you and I were foes, but our ancient grudge is but a bygone memory now. May that which Havria has left behind be yours to subsume. And thus another spark of divinity departs from Liyue. My legacy shall now be left to those who come after to debate. I will remain here for a while. I fear that moments of reminiscence like this can only grow fewer. We did not measure right and wrong during the days of the Archon War in the same manner as we do today. Of course, as I am now, I only wish that she could have lived in a gentler time. I'll remain here for a while. Though the Salt Chalice and Salt Ruler do have power in their own right, they are nothing before Osayo. If a day comes when he should recover his strength and return, I believe that even so, he will be defeated once more. Will remain here for a while. That is a good question. In the past, I might have given you a most specific answer. But now... yes. I suppose I will continue in my role as a consultant at Wangsheng Funeral Parlor. But if this journey was to your liking, why don't you come along the next time I am seeking to preserve memories of Liyue's past?